Tell me what's better than a nice, warm chocolate chip cookie. Probably won't be able to tell me. It's literally one of my favorite things ever, and my brown butter chocolate chip cookie recipe is definitely one that you're going to want to use going forward. So stay tuned on this episode of Kitchen Island, where I'll teach you how to make these delicious things. They're so good. First step in creating these delicious brown butter chocolate chip cookies is your butter. So what you want to do is take a saucepan and you're going to put 3/4 a cup of butter into your pan on medium-high heat. Now what this butter is going to do, it's going to foam up, but you want to make sure that you're constantly stirring it because little bits are going to start falling. And as soon as you start smelling a nutty flavor from your butter, you want to turn it off because you don't want it to burn. So we're putting about 1.5 sticks of butter into our pan, and we're just going to let that melt. Just about there. So now it's starting to smell nutty and delicious, and all these little brown bits are starting to come into the bottom. So once you do that, you want to immediately remove it from the heat and go ahead and pour it into your mixing bowl. This smells so good. So once you poured it into your mixing bowl, you're going to want to let this cool for about 20 minutes because when you mix your eggs and everything, you don't want those eggs to cook from the hot butter. So just let that sit and cool, and then we'll come back to it. Now that we've got our butter browned and in our mixer and it's cooled down a little bit, we want to go ahead and preheat our oven to 375 so it's good to go. And we're going to be adding our other ingredients to our mixture so we can get those going. Those going. So to your butter, you're going to want to add 1/4 a cup of shortening. Just put it right in. You just want to cream your shortening and butter together till it's just mixed. Alright, and to that you're going to want to add your sugars, which is going to be 1 cup of packed brown sugar and 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. You're going to want to mix those together now. Alright, and to this mixture you're going to want to add 3/4 a teaspoon of baking soda and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and just give those a stir. Alright, now it's time to add our eggs and our vanilla. So we're going to add our 2 eggs to our mixture. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Alright, and go ahead and mix that together. Now sometimes when you use a mixer, ingredients can spread up the side. So if you have to use a spatula to kind of scrape things down and back into your bowl, go ahead and do it because you want everything to be incorporated really well. Alright, now that we have our butter, oil, eggs, and vanilla and everything mixed together, we want to go ahead and add our flour. So this is going to be 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And it's best to incorporate it a little bit at a time. And don't make this mistake because I've done this many times. When you put flour into your mixer, make sure to start it on a low speed because if you put it on a high speed, it's going to fly flour everywhere. So the key to adding flour is you don't want to over mix your batter. You want to make it to where you just see slight flour marks within your batter. That looks good. So we're going to take our mixing bowl off and bring it over to our island where we're going to incorporate the rest of our ingredients. So there's probably a little bit of flour left on the sides of our bowl, so just go ahead and mix that in just slightly. Now this is the fun part where you get to add your chocolate chips, 1, and anything else like pecans or walnuts or whatever you want to add to this. So I'm going to be adding dark chocolate chunks because I love dark chocolate, and I feel like it gives chocolate chip cookies a deep richness, and especially paired with the brown butter, it makes it taste so good. To my batter, I'm gonna add an entire package. This is about 10 ounces of dark chocolate. This is Kroger's private selection of dark chocolate chunks. I always like an extra crunch of some sort, so I'm gonna be adding about a cup of chopped pecans to this. So we're gonna put those right into our batter. This smells so good. That brown butter gives such a richness flavor to these cookies. I can't wait for you to try them. So after you put all that, just kind of combine all of your ingredients together. That's not supposed to happen, but if it does, just pick them up and throw them back in. Now, it's time to put on our cookie sheet and get to baking. Alright, so now I have lined a baking sheet with some pre-cut parchment paper. I love using parchment paper, especially the ones that are pre-cut, because you can easily just throw them on your baking sheet and then toss them once they're done, and you don't have to worry about messing up your baking sheet in the process. So to get evenly, perfectly cookies, I use a little cookie scoop, and I'm just gonna plate these one at a time on the baking sheet. All right, now these are ready to go into the oven. 375, you wanna bake these about 8 to 11 minutes. For the perfect cookie. They might look a little gooey when you take them out of the oven, but that's okay. They're going to continue to bake after you remove them. Let them sit for about 10 minutes and they're going to be perfect. So let's go ahead and pop these in the oven. And if you don't want to use all of your cookie dough at one time, you can easily just put it into a storage container, and this will freeze for a good 3 months or so. And that's what I'm actually doing with the rest of this leftover batter. So it's been about 10 minutes and our cookies should probably be done. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay out some cooling racks to put our cookies on. And I just get these wire racks, and you can get these at any grocery store. I think I got these at TJ Maxx, so anywhere should carry them. But they're perfect for cookies and baked goods to cool on. So let's go ahead and grab our cookies out of the oven. Look how delicious these look. So yeah, just transfer these, let these cool for about 5 minutes on the baking sheet, and then transfer them to your wire rack to finish cooling. After you've let your cookies cool, you can transfer them to your favorite baking dish, or you can package them up to give to your friends and family. Be sure and put this in your recipe box as your go-to chocolate chip recipe. The browned butter is going to add so much element to these, and you're going to absolutely love them. So be sure and check out my blog for the full recipe, and comment below with any suggestions or recipes that you guys like to see, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.